Sup guys, Haking here, bringing you a new video regarding RE9 and the potential rumors of it originally being Revelations free. So before I begin further, to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's go into this. So yeah, Dusk Golem did a whole new post on Twitter where he basically was discussing Revelations free and how perhaps maybe a lot of the ideas from that game were taken for RE9. So we're going to go into this because there is some interesting things to talk about and look at and discuss. But yeah, let's go through it, guys. It's, you know, it's better than nothing. Any news is better than no news, right? So this person asked him, you previously said Revelations 3 was cancelled. Have we seen the locations and ideas Capcom used in this game in any new or upcoming games? Also, do you have any information about the Code Veronica remake? Is the 2027 release claim still valid? So before I begin further, remember guys, Capcom does renews old ideas and they end up either using them for previous RE games or turning them into other games. You know, some of the concepts for Resident Evil 4 did end up becoming Devil May Cry and Hunting Grounds, and a lot of the deleted stuff for Resident Evil 5 ended up becoming Resident Evil Revelations 1, Resident Evil Damnation, and even RE6. So Capcom does renews old ideas. And Revelations 3, if I remember correctly, you know, was meant to be a game starring Rebecca Chambers set in a university. And apparently Alex Wesker or Natalia was there as well, one of the other characters. Apparently, don't know. And yeah, it's always made me wonder, like, would they renew that? Or would they take elements from that? Or are they ever going to release that game? Maybe make it into a higher budget game? Don't know, but we'll read for this now. Thank you for asking that question, as it allows me to talk about something I've wanted to for a while. And by the twit count, I'm sure you can tell it's a doozy. But I think it's really interesting if you're into Resident Evil and behind the scenes stuff. So first, some stuff I know 100%. Resident Evil Revelations 3 was originally greenlit in summer of 2017. It was not being developed by Capcom, but external studio, I guess TOS, the same people who Ghost developed Rev 1 and 2, but just a guess. Though like Rev 1 and 2, Capcom peeps of course had a hand in directing, producing, Pacific roles, etc, etc. But the majority of the development team were out of house from Capcom. It 100% cancelled in 2022. Capcom has a 5-year meetings about Resident Evil projects to catch up and review how the last 5 years went, to see current production timelines, make calls on various things, and decide how the next 5 years are going to go. Stuff like that. Happens in the summer. They did it in 2017 and 2022. The next one will be summer 2027. In summer of 2022, they cancelled Revelations 3. Did the first delay to RE9, greenlit Code Veronica and Zero Remake, etc. This is not the only time they make these sort of decisions, but it is a special series of meetings made specifically for making these sort of decisions every 5 years. So it's funny, right? So every 5 years, Capcom has these big important meetings where they make these decisions of whether to greenlight games, cancel it, and get various reports on development. That's very interesting. But every 5 years, it sounds sort of like the Resident Evil movie rights by Constantine. Like, apparently Constantine has to make a Resident Evil movie every 5 years, otherwise they lose the rights. So that's very funny to me. Like, there's this 5-year thing for that, and there's this 5-year thing for Capcom when it comes to their games with this. So that's very interesting. And that was when Revelations 3 was cancelled. The reason simply was it just wasn't turning out good. Rather than save it, they decided to cancel it for now. Focus resources, budget, effects instead on other endeavors. So that all I can say with 100% confidence. Back when Jesse Does Horror was involved in the RE community, he got an email from a playtester who had previously emailed him with very concrete details on the RE8 demo way before RE8 was revealed. So most likely what was in that email is true, but never been able to 100% validate its authenticity. Some of this was made public, some we kept close to the chest. So now, I have this theory that this version of Revelations 3 was the basis of some of RE9's ideas. Some of it sounds suspiciously familiar to me, but I don't think people are ready for me to talk about this, and believe me when I talk about it, but fascinated me for a while. but keep in mind, the demo details have never been 100% validated, though I do believe them, but I think I should preface that. The guy's email detailed he had played something titled Investigate, that was the name on the title screen, and called that because you played as Rebecca Chambers in a university setting who had more options to investigate things like clues and stuff for a mechanic. So this is very interesting. Rebecca would have been investigating things. You'd think for being a scientist, it would involve more sciencey stuff, but here it's a bit weird, isn't it? Like she's being more of an investigator. Okay. If they did reuse ideas for RE9, right, and Rebecca was originally in that game, it makes you wonder, would they bring Rebecca back? Does that mean Rebecca might be in RE9 then? Remember that photo of the cosplayer? There was one with Leon with the director, and then there was another cosplayer that was dressed up as Rebecca with the director of the RE9 director. Was he trying to hit and fix maybe with those cosplays? Because I'm sure there was many other cosplayers, right? Like dressing up as Jill and Chris and that, surely, right? Why take pictures specifically with those two? I'm just throwing ideas out there. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying maybe you did take other pictures and those are the only ones that I saw online. So maybe there's more, but I'm just saying maybe I don't know. But yeah. This has greatly interested me for a while due to the final RE9 game having an actual FBI analyst who investigates things, but it doesn't end there. The main enemies in that version of RE3 were weird, like they looked like people but acted like zombies, eating when dying, biting you, but used weapons from around the school like scissors and box cutters to attack you. They apparently could talk, and Rebecca could sneak by them rather than fight them. This point has also greatly interested me in terms of the final RE9 game, but I digress. In the university, you solve puzzles. There was a lot of RE1isms in backtracking, opening up locations. There was a shotgun mounted to the wall in the library you needed to do a puzzle to unlock. Puzzle involving using chemicals to make a mixture to melt a rusty lock. Yeah, that would fit Rebecca's. That's what I mean. That would fit Rebecca's style, like mixing chemicals. And found notes about some shady goings on with the principal of the school. Stuff up that alley. It sounds very like I never played it, but I did see guides for it, like back in the day, and gameplay for it. But it sounds like Capcom was trying to do their own version of Resident Evil meets Obscure. Remember that horror series on PS2? There was 2 of them they did, and it was set in a high school, and you played like multiple characters, and like the villain was the principal, and he was doing like some shady experiments and stuff with like parasites or something. I don't think it was a supernatural game. I think it did deal with like bioweapons and stuff. So it feels very much like Resident Evil was trying to do their version of that. Maybe that would have been cool to see. And the extreme RE1isms with the weird zombie human enemies with gameplay featuring investigation mechanics have had me thinking about RE9 a lot. But there's one more thing. At the end of the investigate demo, there's this masked guy draped in a cloak who snuck up behind Rebecca and strangled her unconscious. Build up to a bit as some weird sort of serial killer has found his victims before this, and the demo ending with a serial killer has also greatly interested me. I have zero proof of a connection between the investigate demo email report and RE9, but there's a lot from that investigate demo which gives me RE9 vibes and suspicions, but they're all I have, suspicions. So there's me finally blabbling on that. So that's that, which is very interesting. So yeah, the original Revelations 3 was called Investigate. It sounds pretty much like the RE7 demo, which was originally called Kitchen. I guess Capcom loves giving their specific titles subtitles here, or mini subtitles. But yeah, if this is true, it does feel like RE9 is taking elements from that, which would make kind of sense, because it got cancelled in 2022, right? That's what he's saying. And this version of RE9, but then this version of RE9 started development in what, 2020 or 2021? So at one point, the development for these games overlapped between a few weeks, maybe months, and they realized, hey, this is getting cancelled, but let's take some of these elements from this game and put it into here. It really makes me wonder, though. It makes me wonder, like, what other characters are returning in this? Because if you're cancelling one game, but you're taking elements from that. Does that mean you're going to take character elements from that? Like, would that mean that Rebecca could potentially show up in this game? Which would be funny as hell. Like, you're going back to Raccoon City, and it's focusing on, like, the Outbreak elements, right? So you got Alyssa, and then you got her daughter carrying on the torch as this new legacy character, if you will. But then you've got Leon potentially showing up as well. But then you got other characters as well, like maybe Rebecca showing up. Because I think Dusk himself did say that there's going to be other returning characters. But he said the characters you expect to show up in this don't. And characters you didn't expect to show up do. So that kind of makes me wonder, what characters would those be? What characters would you not expect to show up? I'm really hoping Alex Wesker's in this. I really do hope Alex/Natalia shows up in this as a villain. I really do. Because I feel like now is the time. Like, they'll be old enough to have to start doing their thing. But if she's in it, then surely Barry would show up as well, like to try and save her, maybe? I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes we don't know about. Because we have no idea what this game's really about. We know nothing. We just know the bare minimum. The very bare minimum. And that's all from like the first hour or something of the game, and that's it. Like, it's crazy to think about. But yeah. Those are my thoughts on that, guys. I thought I would post about that and talk about that. There really isn't a lot to talk about, unfortunately. Very basic stuff there. I do remember that reading some stuff about the original Revelations 3 that it had enemies that were rage induced. So I'm wondering if this is the same thing, like were these enemies on a rage virus, which would be very funny actually, because you look at that one trailer with that one zombie smashing her face into a mirror. Like, is the virus a rage induced virus? Because if it is, then that means they are taking elements from that, perhaps. Then we'll have to wait and see. But I'm very curious, because if Alex/Natalia was in the original Revelations 3 and this game is taking elements from that, I'm wondering if they're bringing that character back. I'm hoping that's the case. Fingers crossed. But yeah, guys, I hope you like this. As always, remember to like and subscribe, and I shall see you when I shall see you. Take care and bye.